I'd wanted to have my music on MTV ever since I began watching the network so many years ago. Making this dream my reality would prove to be both a challenging and very rewarding journey. It's important to highlight that I began playing music at a very early age, and I began writing and producing and recording my own music when I was about 10 years old. I began DJing in the 7th grade. I began my record label in my early teens. I continued to play in a variety of bands as well as DJ throughout high school and university. Fortunately, one of my first jobs was with economic analysis, and this included working with computers and technology. This early experience and interest in computers and technology would prove advantageous in my future music production as well as my future business endeavors. I graduated university with a degree in economics. Upon graduating university, I briefly worked as a portfolio analyst before deciding to go after my dreams of a successful music career. Of course, upon graduating university, I sent my CDs to MTV, every major record label, as well as every major radio station, and this would continue during the next 9 years. This persistence and determination continues today. During the next 9 years, I continued to build my record label. I made my CDs one at a time on my computer. I created a variety of album covers that I would print one by one on my computer. I put these together, and this is how I built my record label. I began getting my CDs sold in many Chicagoland area record stores, and I began performing at many of the clubs in Chicago, eventually playing most of the best clubs in the city. During the next 9 years, this progress continued, slowly at first, and then more and more rapidly. In about 1999, I heard of this new technology called an MP3, music on the internet. It's important to note that in my early 20s, the computer industry and the internet consisted primarily of text and images, and the internet was used for news, research, and email. During this time, I built my newsletter. This newsletter was used to promote my music, my career, and my record label, and again this continued during the next 9 years. In about 1999, I heard of this new technology called an MP3, music on the internet, for the very first time. I immediately recognized and seized this opportunity. At first, when the MP3 was invented, all of the major record labels ignored it, and the first MP3 platform primarily consisted of independent artists like myself that were smart enough to understand the opportunity and also smart enough to understand the internet and how to create MP3s and a website. The first MP3s were very difficult to create. It would take the computer anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to render a 10 megabyte MP3, and then on the dial-up, it would take anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to upload each individual MP3 to the internet. Now again, mp3.com at this time consisted primarily of independent artists, and my career was already progressing rapidly. Quickly, my music moved up the charts. In about 2001, all of the major record labels began to think, how did we miss this music on the internet thing? And in about 2001, all of the major labels began to put their entire catalogs on this first MP3 platform. Now again, I was already on the charts, but now on the charts, there were many popular artists, including artists whose CDs I had purchased and listened to often. Soon on the charts, my music was grouped with many artists that I was personally a fan of. Quickly, my momentum increased and my music began to move up the charts. In my career, it's important to highlight that I've made thousands and thousands of calls, and I've literally sent out thousands and thousands of demos. Now, I'm on the MP3 charts with many popular artists of the day and previous. In about 2002, my music was in the top 40 in the world, and quickly I had a track that reached #1 in the world. Now, it's important to note that I had contacted MTV at least several hundred times before I landed my first show. But once my career had progressed and I had this track that reached #1 in the world, the next time I called MTV, I successfully secured my first show. And this is how my relationship with MTV was built. After that first show, my career quickly skyrocketed. And I continue to work with MTV to this day. To those of you that are interested and would like to learn additional details and insight, I strongly encourage you to read the writings that I have created and published on my verified Google profile. I truly thank you for your interest, and thank you for your continued support.